Welcome back to Let's Talk Shop. I'm your host, David Kearney, here with your host, John Burton. You can't hear him right now because this intro is being added later, but you'll hear him shortly. Anyway, let's talk shop. So, this is the first of a multiple part series about attitude. The question being, is there a right way or a wrong way to live with disability or to manage it or just outlook on life in general? As a young person, a person with a disability grows up differently. They have different lessons to learn, different ways to make their way through the world, and we're going to talk about some of those today. So, with the first one, we're going to just talk generally about attitudes, some of the common ones people with disabilities might adopt, and why should anyone care? I always like to think, well, I don't like to think, but I often think that the world is not built for people like us. At least not built with us in mind. Even as recently as the year 1990 in the U.S., with the Americans with Disability Act, is when buildings were finally started to be built to allow wheelchair users inside. And even then, there's often ramps in the back, or through the back door, through the basement, or off to the side, where you're still not going through the main entrance as everyone else. And I feel like it's very reflective of the overall situation for people with disabilities, at least in my experience, where we're always going through the proverbial other door or back door.
Right. I mean, infrastructure, it's a difficult thing to change overnight or even over decades. You're always going to have buildings that have that one step or, curbs that don't quite meet the road at the curb cuts or, public transit still has a long way to go. So from a logistics standpoint, yeah, I think that's kind of one of the big issues we're talking about is just getting around, just in general. It's something that we have to deal with a lot as wheelchair users.
Well, well, I was sort of talking, I was sort of using that as like an example, but also a metaphor.
Yeah. It's one of the many different little challenges, with is logistics. I think.
So, something I always like to think, there I go saying that again, but there's a scene in the movie, The Bourne Identity. For those who haven't seen it, he was a secret agent, and he gets amnesia. But all his sort of secret agent skills and things remain. And in one scene, he's discussing it with the girl that he's with, talking about how as soon as he goes into a place, he's thinking and observing and looking around, figuring out where the exits are. And I think he goes into like, I can tell you that that waitress is left-handed, and so-and-so guy looks like someone you don't want to mess with. And the best place to find a gun is, in the car, the big truck outside. I like that because it's sort of very true to life for having a disability where you always have to be thinking, you always have to be
Where are the
observing.
guns?
What?
Where are the guns? That's what I'm always thinking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're all secretly homicidal.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
No, but seriously, yeah. I know what you mean. And often even before you enter a building, do online or read reviews for the building, or check it out on Google Maps and just see if there's any steps. Just all those little things. There's a lot of planning involved, and it's just kind of something that's always on your mind. And it's not innately so. I think that, we've all kind of had a situation where maybe we were invited somewhere and you actually get all the way there and then find out it's not accessible. It's something that you kind of learn over time to kind of incorporate that extra steps of planning and observing.
And even if I'm planning to go somewhere, not only need to know where I'm going, how to get inside, where the exits and accessible entrances are, but also I might think, do I need to bring an assistant with me? Am I gonna need to have someone there?
Mm-hmm.
Will I be able to use the bathroom while I'm there?
Bathrooms, that's a big one, yeah.
Will that inform my decision to drink if I have to go to the bathroom a lot?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of different things that go into it, or even the weather. If it's cold out, I'll have to think, I'll have to bundle up.
Totally understand what you mean, though. Like, I mean, how do you bundle up? Like, it's not an easy thing for us to just put a coat on and take a coat off. Like, you have to even kind of think about that too. Like, how much time am I going to have to spend outside? Or how much space is there between the car or the bus or whatever and the actual door to the building? How cold will it be once I get inside? Am I going to like keep the coat on? Yeah, and you and I, we don't have a lot of meat on our bones. We're pretty skinny guys, so the cold affects us a lot more than your average Joe.
This is all stuff that we've had to learn to do through experience.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, learning things the hard way. And, we could talk all day about logistical issues and things of that nature. But there's a deeper issue here. We could have actual physical barriers, but there are other more subtle barriers that people with disabilities have to deal with, like their own attitudes about things.
It starts as just a logistical issue. Like, I want to do something and I can't do that thing. And like over time, it kind of wears down on you. Just like it's emotionally draining. I think to always kind of be in this state where it's like the people around you are doing things that you can't do. So it's like, how do you solve that? Like, how do you seek fulfillment in a way that isn't necessarily the traditional way? Like maybe you want to play sports. Okay, how do you get that same sort of fulfillment of competition?
How do you get involved?
Yeah, yeah,
So you sort of are forced to think outside the box,
yeah,
make your own rules, you might say.
yeah, yeah.
For example, with the sports, when I was younger and varsity sports started to get big, maybe not varsity, but fourth, fifth grade age, I couldn't play the games, but I still liked sports. I still wanted to be involved. I still wanted to be with my friends what they were doing. Actually, in fourth grade, the coach was my dad and another one of my friends' dads, and they allowed me to be the assistant coach. So I wasn't really like
Hmm.
in the action, figuring out strategy and things. But I came to the practices. I timed the different drills and things. I took stats at the game. I don't really know if they ever actually used them, but it made me feel like I was involved.
Yeah, and it put you in a position where maybe in the future, you could contribute something like that, some statistics or some type of book smart strategy to your team, or get you practicing and using, the mental muscles.
Yeah, and at least
Yeah.
that was sort of the first step of, no, I can't be involved in the exact same way as other people, but I could still do things. I could still be satisfied.
I can still help my team. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can still be competitive. Yeah, I got into chess at a pretty young age, and yeah, my dad taught me, and it was like maybe a year or two after playing it, and I could beat him pretty consistently, and then I started doing like chess club at school, and I was maybe a sophomore by the time I could beat pretty much anybody in the high school, and it's just when you don't have any other outlet for competition, and I know I'm a pretty competitive person, but it's like if you're not like doing varsity sports, you focus everything on that one thing, and
Uh-huh.
it's nice. I mean, it's nice to be able to like compete and have that same sense of victory, and to improve yourself, to get better at a skill.
Yeah.
And something you can show off too. It's like, hey, look, I did this. Something to be proud of.
Yeah, chess might not be the most mainstream thing
Right, right.
for kids to get involved in,
No.
but it's something, and I think you need to be ready and willing and open to doing those things,
Mm-hmm.
which doesn't always happen, at least
Yeah.
not right away. Because I know in the beginning I was very much like, this is cool, basketball, I'm still involved, but I wasn't quite at that age where I would ask why.
Mm-hmm.
Like at first you're just like, this is the way it is. I don't know any other way, so I'll just go along with it. But then I think once you hit puberty, sort of 12, 13, you start saying, why? Why do I have to do this stuff differently?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why can't I do everything?
Why does it have to be so damn complicated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously you fight back a little. Maybe you get stubborn, you try to prove that you can do something the same way as other people. I remember once, it's kind of a strange example, but we were at Indiana Beach with the family. And, normally I would go to other theme parks like Six Flags, and my dad could lift me into the roller coaster seat, and I could sit in it pretty easily. But Indiana Beach was a lot older. The rides were a lot, for lack of a better word, they were shitty. They're like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
60 years old,
Flimsy
sort
and
of rickety, very narrow,
not wheelchair friendly at
very
all.
narrow like ramps or stairways
It wasn't Disney World. Okay,
to
I
get to
gotcha.
the
Yeah.
loading
Yeah.
boarding area, whatever you might call it.
Oregon. I don't know.
And I was very stubborn. I was like, no, I want to ride these. Help me get on there. Because I want to ride, I didn't want to admit that I wasn't able to get on the 70-year-old swinging ship ride
Yeah. Yeah.
or the weird mining car roller coaster.
Yeah.
And I named my dad, he went along with it. He carried me up the rickety stairs to get on the ride, or had to lift my wheelchair around the corner to get through the narrow boarding ramp.
Mm-hmm.
And I was satisfied that it was really a false sense of satisfaction. I was mainly just saying, I can do this. I will do this. I can do it the way everyone else
Yeah.
does it. It's really, I think it's sort of growing pains before you eventually really learn how to navigate your way through the alternative methods that,
Yeah. Yeah. It's this very short-term sense of pride that kind of dissipates quickly. Yeah. I know what you mean. I've been there too. I one time, I'm gonna stick with the ride examples. I was maybe 7 years old. We were at Disney, in the Magic Kingdom, Disney World. And the Peter Pan ride. It requires the rider to be ambulatory. It's like a standing ride. And my brother
oh,
had just ridden on it, and he was just ecstatic about how fun it was. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna ride this ride, I don't care. And I can't walk. I don't know. My parents, they were pretty good about not ever saying no. In terms of like when I was determined to do something, they didn't want to tell me you can't do that. So I mean, they actually tried to kind of sit me in the the harness, I guess it is. And as soon as I put weight on my feet, I ended up twisting both my ankles, and I was in a lot of pain for the rest of the trip.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
That sounds a lot worse than what happened to me.
yeah.
Oh,
But I'm glad they tried it at least. It's like, yeah, they don't want me to be sad, but on the other hand, it's like you should at least try things and fail at them to know.
I guess it's better.
Yeah, you should test your limitations at
It's
least.
better to hit your limit
Yeah.
than to just accept it in theory.
Right.
It's kind of hard to be like, well, maybe it isn't really that way.
Yeah.
And then you have to get crushed down
Yeah.
to realize, no, wait,
I think
it is.
It was a good lesson for me to learn at that age, I think.
Mm-hmm.
As painful as it was, but, I still had a good time. One of the best trips of my childhood, in spite of that. It's not like I look back on it and that one bad experience is the highlight. No, that was just, that was just one thing I had to deal with.
Yeah, and for the most part, I'd say 99%. I've accepted that and everything. So I think
Yeah.
once in a while it's still sort of a lifelong thing.
Yeah.
Even in college, I'm sure you remember, you were even probably there most
I
of the
remember
time,
a lot, yeah.
that I
forgot
wanted
a
to
lot, too.
party like the other, like other people were.
Yeah, like 5-6 days a week.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
just pounding shots and drinks just constantly.
Yeah.
Getting up the next day and going to class without consequence.
Yeah.
That really wasn't gonna work
Yeah,
out.
no. That's not sustainable. It's like you can do that a few times and then it just takes a toll on your body. Like,
especially someone like us.
yeah.
Like someone whose body is already
a very elastic.
yeah, someone that's already more vulnerable is gonna put themselves through that. I mean, I tried really hard,
Yeah.
but you can't just get up without consequence. You can't drink as much as someone else, like an able-bodied person.
Yeah. And you hit your limit. Kind of like I hit my limit at Disney World.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
got a stomach ulcer. What?
Yeah.
That was
Dramatic. To say the least.
That was quite the lesson to be learned.
Yeah, I think we all learned something from that.
I think this is a good overview of some of the topics we'll be talking about regarding attitude and sort of how people manage their disability, how they view it, how they learn to deal with it, or not.
Yeah, we'll talk about more examples and other ways that you kind of grow and adapt to different hurdles.
If you like what you hear, we would love to hear your feedback. So if you listen to this on SoundCloud or YouTube, please subscribe, give us a like, a comment, if you have any thoughts. And also check out the Facebook page, see our mission, and what we're all about. The link to that will be in the description. David Kirby, signing off.
Hey, I'm the other guy. I'm also signing off.